All right, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. My name is Eric Williams. I am the Assistant Director of the Office of International Students and Scholars. And just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. Like I said, a recording of this will be available, and it will be posted on our website. So we'll send out an email once the recording is available. Please submit any questions using the Q&A function. Please do not use the chat function. We're only going to be utilizing the Q&A to answer any questions. And then we'll go ahead and read out questions and answer them verbally as well as type them out. And please make sure that you're not submitting any personal information through those Q&A questions. We'll be wanting to address more general questions. If your question is more personal in nature, then please email our office or contact your assigned advisor for assistance. Like I said, I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of International Students and Scholars. I graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 2004, so a long time ago, and got my BA in anthropology. So if there are any anthro majors out there, you picked a great school. I loved my anthro program here at UC Santa Barbara. So we are so excited to have all of you coming to campus. We cannot wait to welcome you to campus or back to campus if you're a returning student. It's been a long time and we're already seeing energy on campus with students coming back and moving in and all of that good stuff. So we are so excited to have you back, and we hope that you also are excited to return to campus. This presentation is going over immigration and how you can maintain your status as a UCSB student here in the United States. So this is very important information. This will be available to view after, and I'll be also going over some resources. I have my colleague, Trevor Brandt, who's one of our international student advisors, who's helping me in the chat. So he'll be posting links in the chat function for you to reference as well. So we'll have some QR codes that if you have your phone, you can scan and bookmark those pages. Otherwise, you can also utilize them in the chat function to bookmark on your computer. So this is very important information. This is how to maintain your status, stay legal in the US. So please make sure that you pay attention and you also reference the resources that we're going to point out to you throughout this presentation. So just to give you an overview of what OISS does, we are the only campus department that specializes in immigration advising and processing for F and J visas. So any student that is here at UCSB with an F1 or J1 visa, our office is the only office that can actually process any sort of immigration request or advise you on immigration processing. So keep that in mind when you are reaching out to our office. We really want to try and focus our attention on immigration matters or helping you with urgent immigration questions. So as we go through this presentation, I'll point out areas where you might want to reach out to another department directly to get help with that specific matter, whether it's academics or health insurance or anything like that. We really want to try and focus our attention and energy on immigration advising so that our expertise can be the most help to you while you're here at UCSB. We also advocate for our international students and scholars at UCSB, UC system-wide, and to the US Congress and government. So our advocacy efforts just aren't focused within our small community here at UCSB. We really do provide feedback and advocacy efforts nationwide and at an entire UC system level. So as you're a student at UCSB, if there are ways that we can advocate for our international student population, we're happy to do that. So always feel free to provide us information about your experience. It may not be something that we can immediately fix, but we can certainly be a vocal advocate for you in various levels here in the United States. We also have events, presentations, and other programs that are geared towards our international community. So just keep out an eye out. We'll be sending out information about any presentations that we have or anything like that that might be of interest to you, whether it's more geared towards career information, or it might have to do with a hike that we're going to offer in the area or anything like that. So we want to balance some fun events with some informational events. And if there are any ideas of events that you would want us to help put on, we're always happy to receive feedback from you as to what you want from our office, and we'll do our best to make it happen. We have to do a lot of reporting and compliance with the US government. So you may not see it, but we do a lot of reporting and updates to the US government and maintain our campus's ability to bring international students here at UCSB. So if we're not doing our job properly, then UCSB could lose its ability to bring international students and scholars to campus. So our office does a lot of background reporting to the government to maintain that compliance so that you all can come and study here at UCSB. Like I said, we also liaise with various government agencies and the National Association of International Educators, also known as NAFSA. And they play a large role in doing advocacy efforts for international students and scholars as well. And they have the option of students to get involved too. So if you are an international student and want to get involved in either a regional or national level advocacy effort for international students, definitely look into NAFSA and get involved in those efforts. And there's various ways that you can do that. And then we also act as a reference to departments for international students and scholars. So you may come to us with an issue that's not in our purview, but then we will refer you to the correct place. So we want you to try and do that on your own, but if you're at a loss, always feel free to come and to ask us. So I also want to point out what our office doesn't do, because I think there's a little bit of a misconception that as an international office, we do everything for our international students. But the way that UCSB is set up, we're actually one department and a map of various departments that have their own specialty. So like I said, our specialty is immigration advising. We do not help with academic advising or course registration. You're actually going to want to go to your academic college if you're an undergraduate, or you'll want to reach out to your department or the graduate division if you're a graduate student. So just keep that in mind. We do get a lot of questions about, can you help me pick my classes? How can I get registered for this class, that type of stuff. And while we're happy to point you in the right direction, it's actually best if you reach out to your academic advisors for help with that. And then you'll get a much more direct response much quicker, rather than waiting for us to say, actually, you'll want to go to your academic advisor for that. So it's not that we don't want you to reach out to us, it's just we want you to get the help the quickest way possible and to reach out to the experts who can actually help with the issue you're looking for. Same with housing. We've received a lot of feedback from students, which we have shared with the housing department and campus leadership. But unfortunately, our office is not able to assist directly with housing, as we don't have the expertise or the resources to be able to help with that. Immunization or medical clearance determination, that is all done through student health. So if you think you have a health question, whether it's what kind of services can I get through the student health, can I get help with my immunization records, anything like that, that's all going to be done through our student health department. So Just start thinking in terms of what does my issue have to do with, and maybe just do a simple search on the university website. So here you'll see on the bottom of the slide, I did a screenshot of where you can actually type keywords into the ucsb.edu website. It's at the very top. You'll see the little magnifying glass, and you can search for keywords. So if it doesn't have to deal directly with your immigration record, you might want to try searching in this search to find the department that might better be suited to answer your questions, and you can reach out to them directly. And then that will help you get an answer quicker, and will also help our office with helping students who have specific immigration needs or urgent immigration questions that they need to be answered. All right, so I'm going to be presenting some fun facts throughout this presentation. And the first one is there's a lot of natural tar. These are my disgusting feet. There's a lot of natural tar that happens to wash up on the beaches in Santa Barbara. So don't be surprised if you walk on the beach and you end up with tar on your feet. It's a common occurrence and a price that we have to pay to live in such a beautiful location. So we definitely don't want you to be caught off guard, and be prepared so that when you do go to the beach, just check your feet before you get back home. The baby oil that's pictured here is super good at getting this oil off. It's super easy. You just scrub it a little bit. It's really great. So I know baby oil sounds weird, but it actually is a lifesaver. So I cannot recommend it enough. Keep it in your beach bag or like by your front door, so that before you walk into your carpeted apartment or dorm room or anything, or even put on your nice shoes, you might want to take that off. So a lot of people do get surprised by this, and the baby oil by far is going to be your lifesaver to get that tar off your feet. All right, so Immigration 101. Just to give you a brief rundown, we've kind of covered this in prior presentations, but just to keep you updated and remind you of how kind of the government works and who deals with what. The Department of State is who issues your visa, so they run the consulates in your home country. The Customs and Border Protection, also known as CBP, they handle your entry to the United States. So when you encounter that officer at the border, you give them your I-20 or DS-2019, your passport with your visa in it. They review all of that information and then make a determination on your entry to the US. The Student and Exchange Visitor Program, also known as SEVP, there's a lot of acronyms in the government and at UCSB that you'll get used to. They oversee the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, also known as SEVIS. And that's where our office goes in and creates your I-20 or DS-2019, makes updates to your local living address when you report it to us, any changes of major or things like that. That's where our office and advisor goes in and makes those updates when you report them to our office. So our office, of all the agencies listed, we have the most direct kind of control over what's going on in your record. All the other three that are mentioned on this slide, we can do our best to contact on your behalf, but there are varying levels of power that we have to do anything on that level. So when you hear us talk about your I-20 or CVIS or DS-2019, just know that we have the most control over that, and any issues pertaining to that we can help you with. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, they handle authorizations within the United States. So employment authorizations for you to work beyond your graduation date. If you're going to change your status to a different visa category within the US, stuff like that. So they're all sort of connected, but they all are individual in how they run their agency. And also, like I said, the varying levels of power that we have to influence any decision that they may make. It varies on what department it is. So we always want to do our best to help our students and advocate, but just know that we do have limitations in how we can help sometimes. So if you ever get a response from us that says, unfortunately, we're not able to do that, it's because that agency has determined that we don't have any power or control over what their decision was in that instance. So immigration documents. So your I-20 or DS 2019, like I said, was issued by our office using the SEVIS database. The number one thing that I want to point to is do not let it expire if you plan to continue studying. So even if it's putting a reminder in your phone for 4 years from now as the expiration date or anything like that, don't let it expire. You will get emails from our office as well warning you about any expiration date, and just keep that in mind. If you change your major, your name, or any other details that are listed on your I-20 or DS 2019, you'll want to let us know, and you can report those changes through UCSB Global. Your F1 or J1 visa, like I said, issued by the Department of State. It's only used as a ticket into the United States. Once you're here, your visa has no bearing on your legal status in the US. Your I-20 or DS 2019 dictate your legal status once you're here. And that's why it's important not to let it expire. Your F1 or J1 visa is only used at the port of entry. And once you're here, even if it expires, but your I-20 or DS 2019 are still valid, then you can stay in the country legally. A lot of students think that if their visa expires, that they have to depart the United States. That's not true. You only have to renew your visa if it expires, and then you depart the United States. So just remember that your visa is only used at the port of entry. Once you're here, your I-20 or DS 2019 dictate your legal status. Your I-94 record. So this record is what CBP will issue at the port of entry. So once you are processed through the border and come into the US, you will receive an electronic I-94 record. And so you'll get issued that electronic record, and you'll want to make sure that you check your I-94 record as soon as possible to make sure that your class of admission and the admit until date are correct. So your class of admission should always match the visa type that you used. So if you came in as an F1 student with an I-20, your class of admission would be F1. If you came in with a J1 visa and a DS 2019, your class of admission would be J1. And then the admit until date should always be D/S, which stands for duration of status. And that's tied to the expiration date of your I-20 or DS 2019. So here you'll see, I did a screenshot of what that electronic record will look like. And the two most important pieces of information, which is class of admission and admit until date. So if those are not correct, please let us know, reach out to us, and then we can help guide you how to correct it. Or if you find that you're not able to retrieve your I-94, also reach out to us. And sometimes it can be a little funky in how you retrieve it, especially if you have multiple names on your passport. So we're here to help you. If you're not sure, always run in doubt, reach out to us, and we're happy to help figure out how to retrieve your I-94, or if it needs to be corrected, we can help point you in that direction as well. UCSB Global. So you all are familiar with this by now. You used it to request your initial documents. And moving forward, all requests through our office, you'll use UCSB Global. So whether you're needing employment authorization, a travel signature, you've updated your major, you are leaving UCSB, anything like that. When in doubt, go to UCSB Global. Familiarize yourself with it so that you know where to look. And as always, we welcome any feedback about the system. We just rolled it out in February of this year. So there's going to be kinks and issues and ways that we can always improve it. So we are always happy to receive any feedback. And if it's something that we can fix and it'll improve the services, we're happy to do that. So don't be shy. If you love it, then, let us know. For new students, this is all that you'll know, but for our continuing students, we used to have paper forms that you would have to run around campus getting signatures, and you don't have to do that anymore. So we're really happy with it, and we hope that you are too, but we can always improve on it, and we welcome any feedback. All right, so where can you find the basics? This QR code will take you to the webpage that has all the information you may need about the basics of maintaining your immigration status. So in this page, you'll see it's split up into F1, J1 students. Click on the square that relates to your immigration status, and then it'll show you information based on different topics. So I highly encourage you to bookmark this page and reference it if you ever are having, some basic questions about maintaining your status, or if you want to work on campus or travel or anything like that. Rather than just, sending an email to our office, this is a really great resource that's available 24/7, where you can get some basic information. And then if it doesn't have all the information that you need, and there's specific information about your case that you want a response from an advisor for, then reach out to our office and ask that question. But we're really trying to help you help yourself, and getting the information you need at any time, so that you're not waiting around for us to just send you a link to our website saying, actually, you can find the information here. And then, like I said, that'll help our office manage more urgent or specific cases that need our immediate help. With almost 5,000 international students on campus, you can imagine the volume that our office receives, and we really want to be able to help everyone in a timely manner. So anytime that you can look at this basic page, it'll really help you navigate that information. All right, our second fun fact, the UC Santa Barbara Arts and Lecture Series. They bring world-class entertainers, speakers, political speakers, all types of different people to Santa Barbara, which for a small town, the amount of really talented folks that they bring in is astounding. Events are hosted either on campus or downtown, and tickets for students are generally around $25, depending on the event that's being held. Whereas for people like me and the general public, we sometimes have to pay $80 to $100 a ticket to go to these different events. So I highly recommend it. It's an amazing series that they bring here, and you can learn so much. And as a student, it may even be free depending on the event. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that and looking out for the events that they're going to be resuming hopefully this year. And it's a great excuse to go downtown, go to a restaurant, get out of your UCSB bubble and see some really great performances. All right, so maintaining your undergraduate academic status. So this is for all of our undergraduate students. You must be enrolled in at least 12 units every quarter. So if you are finding that you are having trouble getting into 12 units, please reach out to your college advisor for assistance in finding classes that might be available for you to sign up. If you're having difficulty maintaining 12 units, first start with your academic advisor and then reach out to our office so that we can help you with the immigration portion. Always speak up early and often if you're having trouble maintaining 12 units so that we can try and help you the best that we can. But do keep in mind that the government has specific requirements for you to maintain your status. And for undergraduate students, that is 12 units every quarter. And we always have students who the quarter will come and go, and then it's the next quarter, and they want help dropping classes from their previous quarter, and we can't do that. So if you need help, get help as soon as possible within the quarter that you're having issues with, so that we can address any issues and do our best to help you. But always reach out to your academic advisors first, because they're the ones that will be able to help you with any sort of issues pertaining to your academics. And then you can come to us to talk about what that means for your immigration record. For our graduate students, you must be enrolled in at least 8 units every quarter. And the same goes for you. If you're having trouble with that 8-unit minimum, make sure that you are talking to your department or graduate division, and then also seek our assistance with the immigration portion. So for graduate students, if you're getting your master's or PhD at UCSB, you need to be enrolled in 8 units each quarter. Failure to enroll in your minimum units without letting us know or talking to us will result in your immigration record being terminated, and then you are either going to end up staying illegally in the United States, or you'll need to depart the US immediately. So this is a very serious issue, and you'll want to make sure you pay attention to that and get help early and often if you're having trouble with those 12 units. So don't think that if you just ignore it, that nothing will happen. Our office gets reports of students who are under enrolled. And if you don't do anything about it or reach out to us, we will terminate your immigration record. So it's a very serious subject and something that you really need to take seriously throughout your time here at UCSB. Another big one is academic integrity. So this means that whenever you're submitting papers, you're taking tests, anything like that, it's all of your own work. UCSB has very strict policies as it pertains to academic integrity, and being ignorant of the policies is not a good excuse as to why you violated them. So we have a page on our website. Once again, the QR code is here. Make sure that you read the policy carefully and know what it means. If you do not know what it means, ask your professor, your TA, or get help from CLAS, which I'll review later. Or you can even go to the library and they will help you learn how to cite sources for your paper. So once again, it is your responsibility to be familiar with what academic integrity means and what those policies here are at UCSB. I work very closely with the Office of Student Conduct, who handles these academic integrity cases, and have seen quite a few international students who did not read the policy get suspended for a quarter because they were using someone else's words or work when they're doing papers or tests. So it's something that's taken very seriously here at UCSB, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you understand the policy. And if you don't, you ask for help in understanding that. So definitely for each of your classes, I recommend that you ask the professor, if I'm writing a paper, or what are your test policies? Make sure that you understand, Because if you just say, I didn't know, no one told me, it's the policy is there for you to know and for you to ask someone. So please, if you if you do anything before you arrive or start classes, review this policy so that you know what to avoid doing and what is okay doing when you're writing a paper. Especially because the academic system here at UCSB may be different than your home country. And so don't just assume that what's okay in your home country is okay here at UCSB. We want you to be prepared. All right, our next fun facts after that very serious lecture about academic integrity. The UCSB Adventure Programs, which is run through our recreation center, they have programs where you can go camping, hiking, day trips around the area. Um, they have so many different options of getting out and exploring California and other states nearby. I highly recommend taking advantage of this opportunity. It does have an extra fee associated, and depending on what the program is, that cost can vary, but it's always a much better deal than you might find at a private company in the Santa Barbara area. So please take advantage of the adventure programs. There's also a trailer near Campus Point, which is the beach that is right near campus. And they have really inexpensive water sports equipment rentals. They do surf lessons, all of that fun stuff. So check it out. The Recreation Center has all sorts of activities. While you're a student, you'll need to blow off steam or get out and enjoy some fresh air. They have yoga, the gym is there, they have a pool. So take advantage of it. You know, a lot of stuff is included in the fees that you pay as a student. So make sure you take advantage of that. Use the facilities. They're there for you. And as an international student, it's a great way to come to the United States and be able to do some inexpensive exploration of the area in Santa Barbara, Yosemite, and other national parks. So please check it out. All right, so next we're going to go through employment. So please pay attention to the visa type that is mentioned on these slides, and I'll repeat the visa type because we do have two different visa types and they have very different rules in terms of employment. So for on-campus employment for our F1 students, so these are the students that have an I-20. You do not need special authorization to work on campus. You only need to go through our office if you need to apply for a social security number. So if you've ever applied for a social security number, you already have one, you can just apply for jobs on campus, no problem. If you have never applied for a social security number, then you'll need to go through our office so that we can provide you a letter that you'll take with you to the Social Security Administration, and they'll be able to then help you with that application to get an FSN. You're limited to 20 hours per week when fall, winter, or spring quarter are in session. You can work over 20 hours per week on official school breaks, so winter or spring break, or during summer quarter. So just keep that in mind. If it's fall, winter, or spring, 20 hours or less. And then apart from that, you can go over 20 hours per week. On campus generally means your paycheck comes from UCSB. So when in doubt, ask. You can ask our office, you can ask your employer, because there may be some places that are off campus but are still considered a job through UCSB. So just ask when in doubt. There, with Isla Vista, if you haven't arrived yet, once you're here, you'll see that Isla Vista is the town right next to UCSB. And it may seem like some places could be considered on campus, but they're actually off campus. So you'll just want to be very careful. The best way to find on-campus jobs is through Handshake, which is done through our career service department, and all the departments on campus will put jobs on Handshake, and you'll see that they're actually on campus and through UCSB. So that's the safest way to find jobs that are considered on campus. Do not accept a job off campus, even if they say, I'll just pay you cash and no one will ever know. Life has a funny way of finding out that students are working illegally. We've had actually some students who have, worked in restaurants, and advisors will see them working at a restaurant or stuff like that. So it's not worth the risk. It's not allowed to work off campus without authorization. So just work on campus. It's a great way to get experience, and there's a ton of different jobs that you can do on campus part-time. For on-campus employment for our J1 students. So these students are the ones that have a DS 2019 and a J1 visa in your passport. You must get authorization from our office before you begin working on campus. So keep that in mind, that you have to apply for authorization through our office if you are a J1 visa holder in order to work on campus. The same rules then apply after that, where you're limited to 20 hours per week if it's fall, winter, or spring. And you must have an on-campus job. And once again, you can find those on-campus jobs through Handshake. So for our J1 students, the biggest difference is that you do need authorization from our office, from OISS, before you start working. Off-campus employment for our F1 students. So these are the students who have an I-20. There's something called curricular practical training, or CPT, and that's available only after you've completed one academic year. So for those of you starting in fall quarter, you'll be eligible to apply for CPT in summer of 2022. And so summer is a very popular option for students to do an internship, because you can work 40 hours a week. So you can get a full-time internship off campus as long as it relates to your major. So start the process early to avoid any delays. And you can scan this QR code, which will take you to our CPT webpage that has information about that. So right now you cannot work off campus, but in summer 2022, as long as you've studied for 3 consecutive quarters in the United States, you're able to apply for CPT. So just something to think about in the future. And then off-campus employment continued for our F1 students. So once again, these are students who have an I-20. You'll way off in the future, right before you graduate from UCSB, you will be able to apply for OPT, optional practical training. I'm not going to go into the details because it's too early, but just something to keep in mind as you go through your career here at UCSB, that at the end, you do have an option to apply for postgraduate employment. For our J1 students off-campus employment, so these are students who have a DS 2019 and a J1 visa. You can apply for academic training, which allows you to work off campus. And you are eligible after completing 1 quarter of study. So you can start a little earlier than our other F1 students, but you still must be authorized by OISS before you begin employment. And there are different rules about the academic training. So this QR code will send you to the info page for academic training for you to review the information. And within the academic training, there's actually 2 processes, depending on whether you're an EAP student who's just coming to as an exchange student for 1 to 3 quarters, or if you're a J1 student who's getting their degree from UCSB. So you'll just want to pay attention to the details and read the section that pertains to you. So We've really done a robust overhaul of our website to provide the details that you need, and these info pages will help you navigate the basics of what you're looking to do. All right, this is the best fun fact, the one that everyone always enjoys. This bathroom in Brent Hall was voted #1 bathroom to use before you die in BuzzFeed. Um, every level of the building has this ocean view in the bathroom. It's single occupancy, so you have it to yourself. It's glorious. Go check it out. Instagram it, send photos to your friends and family, and show them that you get to go to a school that has a bathroom with an ocean view. I don't know about your other friends, but I think that's pretty special. So if they're going elsewhere, they most likely do not have this view that you get. So especially for our science people, you could probably use this almost every day if you wanted, because it's on your side of campus. For humanities folks like I was, you might have to make a little bit of a trek, but it might be worth it for at least going to use this bathroom one. So definitely check it out. Um, it's, yeah, it's pretty spectacular. The picture actually does it justice. All right, so next, travel. Remember to request a travel signature on your I-20 or DS-20 2019 before you depart the United States. This travel signature is actually to be used when you come back to the US through the border. CBP will want to see that you have a travel signature from our office saying that you are authorized to return to the US. So just make sure that, I would say for all of our new students who are coming for the first time in fall quarter, sometime in October, request a travel signature. It's valid for 1 year for our F1 and J1 degree seeking students. For our EAP students who are here for 1 to 3 quarters, your travel signature is only valid for 6 months. So for our degree seeking students, if you get it in October, it's valid for 1 year, then you only have to get it again the following fall. So we always get a bunch of students at, the end of winter or fall quarter, right before winter break, wanting their travel signature before they go. And it's, panic situation. So just get it in October, get it in November before you even think you're going to travel. And then it's taken care of for the year. So, and then that'll help our office, with the workload and trying to get everyone's request done in a reasonable amount of time. If you're going to another country, please review the requirements to visiting that country if it's not your home country. We are very well versed in US immigration policy and travel policy, but we are not well versed in any other country's immigration policies or what is required to travel. And we definitely do not know each student's country's requirements to going to that country. So, we can help you as much as possible, but we really encourage you to do your own research before you depart to that country to make sure that you have all of the necessary documents that you might need to go there. All right, some campus resources that we think are very valuable for our international students. First is campus learning and assistance services. This is right across the hallway from our office in the student resource building, and they offer free tutoring and supplemental classes for certain classes on campus. They also have a writing lab where they can help you review your papers and have some one-on-one help for any sort of writing or other subjects. So you'll want to look at their website. They have a variety of programs from small study groups to one-on-one tutoring, helping with papers, all of that, as well as questions about academic integrity. Like if you need to cite a source for a paper you're writing, they can help you figure out how you best do that citation so that your professor doesn't think that you just stole the verbiage from another writer and used it for your paper. So please use them. It's included in your student fees, no extra cost to you. They're right across the hall from our office in the student resource building, and love to help students with those specific needs of, writing a paper, or they have chemistry, physics, small group tutoring, that kind of stuff. So it's really great. Counseling and psychological services. They are, when you come to campus, you'll see them. They have a bright pink building, not far from the student resource building where we're located. And they have not only staff clinicians and psychologists and psychiatrists, but they also have peer students who can meet with other students about issues that you may be feeling as a current UCSB student. So please do not be afraid to use their services. So many students have utilized their service. The peer mentor program, where it's your fellow students, is a wonderful service where you can talk to people your own age about what you're going through, whether it's having trouble with classes, or you're having trouble communicating with your family, or anything like that. They're there to listen and to provide any sort of support that they have. So don't be afraid to go see them. So many students take advantage of it, and it's not something to be shameful of to ask for help. We'd rather you ask for help than to just ignore it and then it becomes a bigger problem later. Here at UCSB, we really value your mental health as much as your physical and your academic success. So please use the services provided. There's no judgment. We all need help sometimes. And yeah, I've used the staff psychologist here on campus myself. So don't be shy, go use their services. They're there, it's included in your student fees, so use it. Housing services. So if you're on campus and eventually will want to move off campus, there's a community housing office in the university center that can help you find housing off campus when that time comes. The student health insurance plan, that is all through student health. Student health has a ton of different services. So if you are feeling sick or anything like that, you can go to student health. They have dentists. It's a wonderful service and it's kind of a one-stop shop. If they're not able to help you with your medical condition, then they may refer you to a local doctor's office, and then that would be included in your health insurance. So always go to student health unless it's a true emergency where you need to go to the emergency room. But otherwise, go to student health first and they will be able to help you. I've already covered the recreation center that has a lot of different physical activities. Take advantage of that. The Associated Student Food Bank. So this is a resource for all students where you can go and get food for free. So as a college student, we've all had, ups and downs where maybe money is a little tight, we don't have enough money for food, or we need some extra supplies. There's a food bank at the university center that is free for students. You just go in, you grab the food you need, and you take it home, no questions asked. It's a great service. Once again, nothing to be ashamed about. Please use this service. It's there for you. We want to make sure that you're getting the nutritional needs that you need met. And it's a wonderful service that all students have used and is there for you. So please, if you ever find yourself that you're short on money or are not able to buy groceries, that food bank is there for you. Or if you have a friend that's struggling, tell them about the food bank at the university center. If they might want you to walk with them, or you get a friend to go with you. There's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. Everyone falls on hard time or has lean times where they don't have money. This is a great resource, so use it. It's great. We have a resources info page on our website that has other resources that you might be interested in. So please make sure that you visit that page as well. All right, that is the end of my prepared speech. I went a little over than I said I would. But now we'll go ahead and do the Q&A portion. So if you have any questions, I will be utilizing the Q&A function to answer those questions. I'll read out the question and Trevor will also type it out for you. So how do we access the I-94? That's a great question. On our UCSB Global, where you're going to actually submit your I-94 record, there's a link that will link you to the I-94 website. And we can also put that in the chat for you, so you'll have that link available. Where can I see the expiration date of the I-20? So that's going to be on the first page of your I-20. You'll see a program start and a program end date. And depending on your whether you're an undergraduate or graduate student, that date may vary. So if you're an undergraduate student, your I-20 is generally valid for 4 years. If you're a master's student, that's generally valid for 4 years. If you're a PhD student, it's valid for 7. So most students don't have their I-20 expire, but if your studies are delayed or anything like that, that's where you'll want to make sure that you're just keeping an eye on that expiration date and looking out for any communication from our office saying your document is about to expire, please make sure that you extend it. Can an international student at UCSB apply for the Social Security number? Yes. However, you do need to have a job on campus in order to apply. Or if you are waiting until you're going to do an off-campus internship, you can apply for a Social Security number then as well. But you do need to have a paying job in order for the Social Security Administration to issue an SSN to you. And then that SSN is yours for life. So even if you departed the US, come back for a different type of program, you can still use that SSN within the boundaries of your visa status to work in the US. When will the recording be uploaded? So we hope to have it uploaded early next week. We'll send out an email when it's ready. If I work as a TA with 50% workload, so 20 hours a week, that means I cannot have any other job because of the 20-hour limit. That is correct. So in fall, winter, or spring, it's 20 hours per week total. So when you're eligible for off-campus authorization, if you have a job on campus already, you'll want to adjust those hours so that the total amount of hours you work is 20 hours per week. And that is very strict, no going above that. Do we need a visa to enter the US when we come back from our travel with a signature? So you do need to maintain your valid visa status. And so if your visa is still valid and unexpired by the time you come back to the US, you don't have to renew it. But if you're leaving the US and want to come back and your visa is set to expire while you're abroad, then you will need to renew it before you return to the US. Can I pick my I-20 up at the OISS office? So for all I-20s, we're able to email those to you for you to print in color ink from your home or somewhere on campus. If you truly do want to come in and pick one up, that's fine. We're trying to limit, the amount of people that come into our office just to be mindful of public health and keeping our community safe. But if you do need to come pick up a physical copy here at OISS, you're more than welcome to do that. How do I update the address on my I-20? So the address won't print out on your I-20, but it is submitted electronically. So you'll go into UCSB Global and you can update your personal information. And you'll want to make sure that you are reporting your local Santa Barbara address in UCSB Global so that we can report that to the US government. Do I have to open an SSN in order to receive my stipend as a PhD student? So if you're not officially employed on campus, if you're receiving a fellowship or another form of payment that is not directly linked to um, employment where you're working a set amount of hours and you get a paycheck, you'll actually want to apply for an ITIN, um, which is a tax ID number, and you can email our office for instructions on how to do that. Is there any immediate post-arrival procedure such as uploading I-94 somewhere, updating address, or anything of that sort? Great question. Yes, and we will be sending out instructions as well, but you will want to upload your I-94 record and a scan of your visa, unless you're Canadian. Canadians don't get physical visas, to your UCSB Global post-arrival document e-form. So you'll want to log into UCSB Global and upload those. And then for your local Santa Barbara address, you'll want to do that in the personal update section of UCSB Global, and there's a place where you can put your local living address there. So please do that so that we can report that to the government, which is a requirement. To request a travel signature on existing I-20, should we request a new one? Yes, so like I said, we can email all I-20s, so you can just file your old one away, and then we'll email you a new one with a travel signature that you can print out at home in color ink. If yes is the closest office in SB, I'm assuming that is in reference to the Social Security Administration. And there is a Social Security Administration in downtown Santa Barbara. So thankfully, we don't have to travel far. The bus is free for all students, so you can take the bus directly downtown from UCSB. And we provide instructions when we issue the employment authorization letter that you'll take with you to the SSA office. Does on-campus work mean the work in UCSB rather than other campuses? Yes. So on-campus work needs to be done at UCSB. You can't be working at UCLA or another UC because they are considered separate campuses, even though we're all part of the same system, because their payroll is separate from ours. So you'll want to make sure that you're working at UCSB. If I want to travel back to my native country, I need to get a travel signature on my I-20 and keep it with me while traveling. Yes, keep that I-20 with you and safe. Obviously, once you get to your home country, you can just keep it in your room. That way you don't lose it. But when you're ready to come back to the US, you'll want to make sure that you have that travel signature and your I-20 along with your valid visa and passport to come back through the border. As J1 visa holders, how many classes of our major do we need to take each quarter? Do we have to change our major on our GS 2019 if we have less? So as long as you're enrolled in 8 units, if you're a graduate student, or 12 units if you're an undergraduate or EAP student, that's all that our office is looking at. So we're not necessarily concerned with how many are in your major or how many are not. Our office is concerned with how many total attempted units did you have. So for undergraduates, that's 12 units. For graduates, that's 8. And we're not looking at the details of what that means. That's up to you to figure out with your academic advisor to make sure that you're progressing in your academics the way that you should to reach your goal of getting a degree or finishing the program. Do we have a 30-day grace period after a DS 2019 expires? Also, the border security officer official told me I had to report my arrival to UCSB for them to update the CBIS database. When do I do this? So yes, for our J1 students, so you have a DS 2019 and you're a J1 visa holder, you have 30 days after the successful completion of your program to depart the United States. For our F1 and I-20 holders, you have 60 days to depart the United States after the successful completion of your program. So you do have some time after the end to do some travel, wrap up loose ends, and depart the United States. And the reporting is just reporting your address and uploading your I-94 record and your visa if you have one. You do not have to physically come to our office to report. You can just do that through UCSB Global. If you're enrolled in the minimum amount of units, you're good to go. So you don't have to physically come and interface with us. You're welcome to visit us, but like I said, we're trying to keep interactions to a minimum just to keep the public health in mind. But we are very excited to see you, and we'll have some outdoor events as well where you can come talk to an advisor or meet with us outside. Sorry if this is a little out of topic, but do you know what exactly we should do as an international student to be eligible for California residency, or is that not possible? So the determination of residency is actually done through the Office of the Registrar. Our office does not play a role in determining residency for tuition purposes. So any questions you might have can be directed to the Office of the Registrar, and they have a residency unit within their office that can answer any questions. So I won't speak on that because it's not our expertise. I'll let you contact the Office of the Registrar regarding any questions you might have about that. Do we need to register at OASS in person? Like I said, you can do it all through UCSB Global. You do not have to show up in person to see us. When will our UCSB Global status change from limited client service to F1 student services? If it happens after class begins, it may be too late. So you should email us. Once we create your I-20, you should have access to all the e-forms that a continuing student has access to. So if that's the case, we may still need to create your I-20. If you're a transfer in student, we're still working through those. So just check with us and we can look into that for you. Is there any local document I can apply to so I would not have to carry my passport and I-20 all the time? Yes, this is actually a great question. I'm glad you reminded me. Even if you do not want to get a driver's license in California, I highly recommend that you apply for an identification card through the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the DMV. You don't have to do the driver's license. You can just get a California ID card that looks exactly like a driver's license. It just means you aren't able to use it to drive, but you can use it for all other identification purposes. And then you have a really great souvenir to take home with you at the end of your program of having a California identification card. So I absolutely 100% recommend applying for that identification card. It's not as intensive as getting a driver's license, and then you can use it for use around town, or domestically. You can even use it to travel on flights within the United States where you're not having to present your passport. So highly recommend it. And you might still need to carry at least a copy of your passport with you. But to avoid losing your actual passport, that's a great option. How do we get to ride the bus for free? What documentation do we need to get and where from? Your student ID card, which you can get at the University Center, is what you'll use to ride the bus for free. So you don't need to do anything else special other than get your student ID card from the university center, and then you'll just show that or scan it when you get on the bus, and you're good to go. So any local Santa Barbara bus you can ride for free as a UCSB student. I need my certificate of arrival to be signed from my hometown university. Do I need to send an email or have an appointment with OISS? So you can actually get that through the EAP office at on campus. There's a UCSB specific EAP office in South Hall, and they can do that for you. So you can reach out to that EAP office and ask how best they would like to sign that statement of arrival. The California residency, once again, I will defer to the registrar's office on that. They can help you with that question. I think I will need to pay taxes on my PhD stipend to the IRS, but I'll also have to pay taxes to my home country. Is double taxation a regular thing? I am not a tax professional, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but we do have tax resources and you're welcome to reach out to them. We have a page on our website that specifically pertains to taxes and has some resources for you to reach out, and you can ask a tax professional what their thoughts are on how best to file your taxes. And we'll also send out information as tax filings get closer with resources about that as well. Off topic, but if I have a California ID, can we use that at domestic airports instead of carrying passport? Yes. So as long as you have a valid domestic ID, then you're able to use that for travel within the United States. Like I said, you may want to have a copy of your passport available just in case. But if you're able to get an ID that is valid for domestic travel, then they won't necessarily know that you're an international student. And if you're not traveling internationally, it might be easier. So you'll just want to verify that you can use the identification card that you get from the DMV to travel, but it might be a much easier way to travel than having to use your passport. And yeah, we don't want to have you lose your passport because that's a pain to replace. Do I have to get my SSN before I can get the California ID card? I'm not sure. You'll want to look at the requirements for an identification card through the DMV. They are rolling out a different type of card, so you'll want to make sure that you're able to meet the requirements of the identification card that you're applying for. I've submitted my tax info via Glacier system. Do I need to do anything else regarding taxes? You will, but that won't come until closer to April. So you'll get emails about tax time and filing taxes and all of that fun stuff that comes along with earning money in the United States. So yes, at a certain point you will, but at this time, there shouldn't be anything that you'll need to do. If there is, you'll be contacted via from our payroll system or another business officer to give you instructions. All right, that is the last question that's come through. I will go ahead and allow a little bit extra time for any other questions that you might have, immigration related or not. This is your opportunity to ask me anything, so to speak, about UCSB or Santa Barbara as an alum or a current staff member who lives in Santa Barbara. I'm happy to answer anything. So I'll stay on and you can ask those questions. Otherwise, you're free to head off, and we look forward to welcoming you to campus, and we hope to see you around. And like I said, we'll be sending out information about events and ways that you can connect with us outside of our office, but our office will be opening on Monday, and we'll be sending out instructions on how best to come in and visit us. If we want to work off campus in winter quarter, J1, should we do academic training during fall quarter or closer to the time? So it depends on when you are able to get employment, because part of the process is having an offer letter and kind of vetting that employment opportunity. So as soon as you have that, you can go ahead and apply for academic training, but you'll want to wait until you have that job offer in hand before we're able to do any authorization. Any welcome events from OISS? Yes, we are going to have quite a few different welcome events and opportunities to interface with our office. So we'll be sending that out shortly, hopefully by Friday. So just keep an eye out on your email, and we'll have various events that we'll be providing for students at the beginning of the quarter, and then also throughout fall quarter and beyond. So we're trying to find the best way to have some sort of social events for you all, but keeping in mind kind of COVID restrictions and safety to make sure that everyone maintains their health. I need to bring something when I come to get the access card. Yes. You'll want to double check the requirements for the access card. They used to only accept cash, but I'm not sure if they've finally updated and allowed you to pay with a credit card or something. So you'll just want to check, and you can just Google, oh, Trevor put in the chat the link to the access card. So go ahead and check that out. Any other questions that you might have? We will go ahead and wrap it up. Like I said, we'll be around campus next week at various locations. We'll be sending out information about that. So if there are other questions that come to mind, you can find us around campus, or you can go ahead and visit us in our office. So don't be shy, come see us, ask us questions. We're so excited to welcome you back and see your faces, and instead of via Zoom, we'll get to actually see the 3D person. So please don't hesitate to come talk to us, visit us, or email us. We're here for you. We're excited to welcome you back to campus, and we look forward to seeing you. So thank you again for joining me on this webinar. We will be posting it on our website, hopefully by the end of the week. And please stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you soon. So take care.